And we do have some folks. We got some new information specifically from Windows Central. It's a breaking story. It says here, let me just pull it up. I have it right here. Written by, our very good friend, Jez Corden of Windows Central. And the lead title is, of course, a segue, and it keeps with the conversation of Xbox Game Pass. We talked about this. I don't think we're ever going to get the marketing rights or the profits from this idea that we threw out there. But, Keasante, if you're listening, I think you need to sue Microsoft because apparently, according to Jez Corden's new story on Windows Central, which, of course, I will attach into the show notes, it says, what's next for Xbox Game Pass? Cloud, there is apparently an there's quite a few tiers coming, folks, but one of which is a cloud-only tier, which is what we said. How are you going to get people to play on cloud to spend $20? They're not. But what if you say, well, you can play on cloud for $8 or $10? Then people are going to be looking, and potentially new consumers, to, of course, the deal you have with Amazon. And of course, the Fire Stick TV. It makes sense. No one is going to get that and say, "Oh yes, $20. I'm going to drop that." I don't think it is. If you had a tier that was cloud only, which makes sense because that's where they're playing it, well, that's going to make bank for you. And the story does also say that they're exploring. We heard this before, Gamsley, ad-based tiers. And the return of the family plan. Now, this is a story worth talking about. Now, I'm going to read it verbatim. Again, this is Jez Corden of Windows Century. He says, Xbox Game Pass has had some growing pains recently, but it's still a wealth of untapped potential ahead. And this is what the story says. Xbox Game Pass is the tip of Microsoft's spear for growing its platform, but it has had some growing pains recently. Netflix, Spotify, and other content-based digital subscription services have all undergone the same growing pains over the years, but there's still nothing quite like the microscope Microsoft finds itself under with its own service. It's heard opinions run the full gambit, and no one cares about Xbox Game Pass. It says it's dying. Quote unquote, Xbox Game Pass will destroy the gaming industry as we know it. Now, these are things that people in the community have said. Often, the negativity comes from people who don't actively use the service, of course. Developers have touted the service for providing much needed cash flow and investment. Users laud the value of that are on offer. Xbox Game Pass follows every sentence Xbox speaks, yet it hasn't quite exploded as some people perhaps expected it to. One last paragraph. Jez goes on to say, indeed, there's a finite number of core gamers out there who are interested in the content Xbox Game Pass offers. There's the issue of balancing the cost of content acquisition and user acquisition. There's also the issue of cannibalizing other aspects of the platform in order to grow and balance those as well. So what does the immediate future hold for Xbox Game Pass, and what does it look like in terms of growth? Now, again, Gamsley, he mentions the family plan. There are a whole mess of people who have been waiting for this particular plan, especially, like, for instance, my co-host C Money on Thursday's show. He pays for 3 Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions because his wife's a gamer and his kids are gamers, as well as his own. So him specifically would benefit from a family plan because there are so many gamers in the house. This, to me, is a big, big deal, especially, and I've seen it. People in the chat have talked about it. Hey, I pay for 2. I pay for 3. I've even seen people that pay for multiple, even higher than that, because they live with a bunch of gamers. Let's get into the potential of a cloud tier, but also the family plan. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah. Okay, so the balancing act that needs, see, the cloud, the family plan and the cloud gaming, like the article said, it's a balancing act. Like you're taking away those three household names if you put in the family plan, right? So you're losing 2 subscriptions per family, blah 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 blah. So that's what they're trying to figure out in the math around it. They need to have the subscription service at a certain peak point that they can introduce the family plan while grabbing more people and getting them interested. But to do so, they actually have to have a freaking cadence and games that people
Yep.
are really interested in, which is the point of ABK. And
Yes.
they need that to hit on all strides. They don't they really don't want Modern Warfare 3, okay? They want you know, the peak Call of Duties. They want
Yes.
Call of Duty to be up there with the 9 out of 10s or the 8 out of 10s. They want people to be talking in good light about it everywhere, not bad light. And they want Warzone to kick off. They want all this to kick off and be healthy. And then they'll see they'll introduce the cloud plan, which is an excellent idea, and it doesn't do anything bad to the ecosystem. It just gives them more potential for growth in these areas in a growth market, which is cloud. So all of this is just necessary. It was a it's a slam dunk, right? Like you can't be asking the reason why they're doing this $25 whatever Game Pass Ultimate being the only way to play on your Fire Stick at the moment is because they need to bleed that tiny market dry, right? Because they simply just don't have the big number they need to see. So they're doing this for now until they could give you a solid lineup. And when they drop that cloud tier, you're going to see Call of Duty in there. You're going to see new Call of Duty. You're going to see Avowed. You're going to see whatever. That's going to really be big for them. So yeah, I'm really excited for that cloud tier because I know so many people that could be interested in it and to help grow the cloud market. So yeah, it's only a good thing. The cloud thing is only a good thing. The family plan at a certain point is only a good thing for them, and it's a great thing for us at any point, right? At any point
Yeah.
for consumers, the family plan is great. Whether they drop it now or they drop it later, it's good for us, and so is the cloud. So, yeah. I mean, this has to be a thing, and for everybody, I mean that line is contradictory, right? It's like, oh,
Mm.
Game Pass is destroying the industry, but also is like, not doing well. It's like, okay, interesting wording there. I don't know how it could be destructive and not even kicking off yet.
Well, they have.
But
I mean, from what we understand from different reports, it's over 35 million, right? Like
mhm,
we know the last time we heard, I think it was 34. They got to be over 35.
mhm,
And again, this is just a stab in the dark here, folks. I think it's
mhm,
safe to say the year that they're going to have, especially for Ultimate with the first party stuff that includes Black Ops 6. I don't know if it's going to be
yeah,
1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million new subscribers, but you're going to get a bunch of people who understand subscription services, and they're going to see
yeah.
that this is a deal you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, see, and to point out, and I think I've pointed this out so many times at this point, the reason why like Hulu and all these people are starting to have a little bit of a hard time kind of growing and maintaining is because they have
Yeah.
so much competition in their spheres of
Yep.
operation. They have so much, and they have to retain so much. So to grow and retain so much in in an environment of like 17 17 other things is really hard to do, especially in the economy at this point. All right. So if you're putting all those things together, it's just a nightmare for everything, whether it's payable goods or services. It's just a nightmare out there at the moment. But don't make a mistake. If you're looking at the market right now and all you see is PlayStation Plus and Xbox in the same market here, right? Xbox Game Pass in the same market, make no mistake. Once these games start pumping out and they could land them and they could be good and people like them, it's a snowball effect for Xbox in a gigantic way. And that's exactly what they're betting on.
Great points all around, as always. Fuzzy, let's bring you into the conversation because one of the things I will continue to bang the drum for Xbox Game Pass isn't because I'm getting $1 every time I say it. My ideology has always been thinking about the people, I like to put myself on the stand and say that. And if you've heard this before and you're bored of it, I hear you, but I have to say it. The biggest thing that Game Pass does for gamers of every ilk financially is allow for you to be a part of the gaming conversation, which, again, if it comes easy for you and you got it like that, I give you a giant pat on the ass. Congratulations. That's awesome. But not everyone is in the same boat. And if we've learned anything, entertainment is the first thing to go when money is difficult, when it's you have to decide on whether or not to buy a game or, I don't know, pay the rent or feed your family or pay your car insurance or fill up your car with gas, right? These are things that people take for granted. And you shouldn't, because not everyone is in the same financial boat as you. Game Pass gives people an opportunity to get a Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in their $20 service. Yes, it went up $3, and that sucks all around. But again, if you are a frugal gamer, you can find places like Aniba and CD Keys where you are paying $9 a month. Like, you honestly can. It's not a mystery. It's not a secret handshake club. Go there, type it in. You could find it. Again, it's gone up a little bit. The last time I saw it, 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate was $27, $27.64, I think it was. That's just a pinch over $9 a month. That's half price, folks. Less than half price. So if you look for it, you can find it. But Fuzzy, let's get into this because there are 2 points of contention here. One, it makes sense for a cloud only, because people are going to play this on their Fire Stick and be like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to $20. Nope, that's too rich for me. And here's where I didn't understand it. You're paying $20, but what if you don't have it on console? What if you don't have a PC? What if you only have cloud? Why are you paying $20?
Yeah.
That to me is ridiculous. So I'm glad to see that they realize that's just a dumb move. And the other thing that a lot of people have been asking for is the family plan. I do hope it comes back. I don't know what it's going to cost, but I find it to be very ridiculous that a family of gamers are paying for 3 subscription prices of Ultimate. And because you're one of them. Let's get into it.
All right. So before I get to the family plan, the pricing structure always felt a little weird to me. But I think the big thing that while they're reevaluating these tiers and things, I think they need to forward think as well.
Yep.
And start incorporating the Game Pass Mobile, whatever that winds up being. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if their best foot moving forward is to take Game Pass Mobile and merge it with cloud, make that one whole thing. If you have Ultimate, you have everything. If you have cloud or this Game Pass Mobile, not only do you get something dealing with like their store as far as for the mobile games and things like that, but you can still use your browser on your phone to access the games. I mean, you can still use a browser on the PC to do that, but if you want that native experience, it's better to go ahead and get that Game Pass PC set up. The console crowd, I really wish that the $15 deal was, day and date still, as well as multiplayer included. And then I guess the step up would be with Ultimate. You're getting console, you're getting PC, you're getting cloud/mobile. And that would be worth the $5 difference. PC, because their PC store is a big fat turd right now, to be honest, when you compare it to things like Steam or Epic, the big advantage with their store is that the dual entitlement. Outside of dual entitlement, there really isn't much more benefit. Yes, you're getting some PC games, especially their first party day and date, with that service. But outside of that, it might as well just be curated as far as PC. A lot of the PC games that you do get, you could wind up. I mean, if you're a PC only person, chances are you're already picking them up for $5 to $10 at most in some cases for a lot of those games. Either they're older games or the day and dates do have discounts out there on Steam or CD keys and things along those lines. So the CD or the PC Game Pass still needs to convince people to come over, and they got to do something with that store to continue to improve and upgrade it. But on the mobile side or the cloud side, I mean, if you just put a $60 Fire Stick, why would you pay $20 a month to access games and then have basically 2/3 of that non-accessible from that unit? Like it would be great as an add-on that you go ahead and get a console later, but convincing somebody that's paying $20 up front after buying a $60 device to not need a console, it felt weird. And the fact that they're looking at that is a good step moving forward type of thing. But I think they need to, with the cloud, have cloud be like somewhere between $7.50 and $10, include mobile whenever that makes its appearance, because it was supposed to make an appearance mid-July, and here we are a little bit past that, but we'll see what they get done on that. But I think that's how they should structure things, and still keep core or have it where there's core and there's ad core or whatever. You can figure out a way to have it where, just like some of the mobile games have a little banner at the bottom of the screen, or if it's while it's loading, like I don't know if they will bother with the AI technology to say, oh well, it's a loading screen, so let's hurry up and put this ad for a controller or ad for another game in that loading screen spot, which I don't think people would mind as much, just as long as it's not like, oh, you want to play for another half hour, watch these 3 ads. No, definitely don't do that. But if they can figure out how to incorporate ads in like loading screen time frames, or just before you play the game, while it's loading in the background, you click the button to start the game, it gives you an ad, but let's say it takes 12 seconds to load. Well, if the ad is 10 seconds, I don't think people would be too upset. It's only when it's like they show you 90 seconds of ads and that game could have loaded in like less than 20 seconds. That's where they got to be careful. But I think that's what they should do as far as structure-wise. But with a family plan, just basically take Ultimate and at most double it. I'm not really a fan of 40, but I would say somewhere between the 30 to 40 range is probably the sweet spot. Yes, you're probably cannibalizing that 1 or 2 console or 1 or 2 PC subscriptions. Because like right now, since the boys play more so on Steam, since we have a family plan on that, where basically with the exception of certain studios, we can all access the games as far as anything that we've purchased from any 3 of us on Steam. So that's a nice feature to have. They lean on that more so than they do for the PC Game Pass. But I went from 3 things of Ultimate down to 1 thing of Ultimate and 2 things of PC on occasion, and now it's like I think the past 2 months they probably haven't used PC Game Pass at all. But they need to figure out something where it doesn't cannibalize them. But then again, at this point, a lot of people have, at least on the PC crowd, I would say they've probably moved to things like Steam, where as long as it's not your Call of Duties or your bigger titles where the publisher is like, no, you got to buy individual copies like your Grand Theft Autos from Rockstar and such. A lot of people just rather, at least on the PC side, rather do that. And that's kind of where I'm at now. But a family plan between 30 and 40, have access to game, like mobile Game Pass, PC Game Pass, console Game Pass, cloud, and have it where it's at least 3 and maybe at most 5, gamer tags that can be associated with it. I think that's a fair amount.